This is the Authentic Dating series brought to you by Ahmad and David,
where we explore what it takes to have a dating life you're excited about.
Hey guys, I'm David.
I'm Ahmad.
And this is the Authentic Dating series.
Boy, do we have a great episode in store for you guys. We've got a very special guest. His name is Ben Coomber, and he is a fitness expert. He has been featured in all sorts of media. And I think, what was it, David? His transformation was like really quick, like 5 pounds in 6 months. Or the other way around.
No, he lost 5 stone in 6 months.
5 stone in 6 months. Yeah. We thought we'd switch it up in this episode, guys, and really hit you with some really interesting information around fitness and how that impacts confidence. And so we brought Ben Coomber on, and his knowledge and what he shares with us is amazing. Some of the stuff that's in here is like gold for fitness, and especially for any of us who enjoy training and want to improve on our training. Some of these key bits of information, like especially around environment and making sure that you do something that you actually enjoy as a key tenet to your fitness, I thought was amazing.
That bit he put in there actually about how to find an exercise that you really enjoy. That was a really key. There's a really key part to the episode where we talk about how to find something you love. Like, I don't know, a lot of you guys out there, you probably, you want to exercise, you want to keep fit, but you don't enjoy it. You don't enjoy the gym. Maybe you don't like running, and it's like, it feels like a slog. It feels like hard work. And one of the things that Ben's big on is that actually exercise should be fun and enjoyable. And how he actually tells you how you can find something that you can fall in love with and really just love and enjoy doing.
Yeah, it's really powerful. I'm very excited for everyone to listen to this one. And before we jump into that, Dave, I think you got one little update.
Yeah, so I've got a workshop I'm doing for Killing Kittens. Some of you might know the brand. It's Modern Man's Guide to Sex. So I'm doing basically the sex education lesson that you never got at school that you really fucking need. So I'm going to be delivering that for them. That's going to be really good fun. I've done the workshop before, but I've added a few bits and pieces to it, and we styled it. So if you didn't make the first one, come along to this. The link will be in the show notes. It's also in our bio on our Instagram, if you want to find that there.
Amazing. All right, guys. Well, without further ado, let's get into the show. Hey, so really excited to have a very special podcast today, a bit different from our usual rhetoric of dating. We really wanted to serve the people that listen to our podcast, and we know that something that people take really to heart is fitness. And so we've brought on a very special guest today to talk to you about fitness and about health. I mean, this guy's incredible when you see what he's done, but I'm going to let him introduce himself. His name is Ben Coomber. Ben, hello.
Hello, chaps. Good evening.
Good evening. I like that. Chaps. Hello, chaps. English. Very English of us. For our American listener, chaps means hello, men.
Hi, guys.
Yeah. Nice. How are you doing?
Mate, really good. Yeah, really good. Don't usually podcast at 8 p.m. at night. I mean, crikey, I'm like, 7 p.m. I'm usually getting ready for bed, reading my book, putting the candles on, winding down. But for you chaps.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, that sounds like a great evening still.
Yeah, I need to do a bit more of that.
Yeah. Winding down with some candles, I like it. So why don't you share with everyone a bit about who you are, your background, and why you're an expert in this area?
Sure. Been in the fitness industry for 14 years. Started out as a personal trainer, then kind of went into the online space, went into nutrition, education, wanted to specialise in nutrition because I felt that was always the area of my life where it made the biggest impact. What you eat, how you fuel yourself mentally and physically. Went into the supplement game in 2016. These days, I'm a coach, I'm a business owner, I'm a dad, and I'm someone that is continuing to try and live an awesome life, which is my thing. And I suppose when I talk about health and fitness, I like to come at it from a higher purpose perspective.
Okay.
You guys love talking about dating, relationships, looking and feeling good, being confident, like feeling your best self is a massive part of that. So, what you guys talk about, you've got to talk about your health. You've got to talk about fitness, sleep, all of that stuff. So for me, I like talking about fitness from like, are you trying to live your best life? Are you fueling yourself? So that's where I'm at.
Perfect. Yeah. I mean, that's actually something that, as much as we do like talking about dating, that really is an entry point for us to really talk about lifestyle and talk about how one is living their life. So I love that you framed it in that way, because we do teach guys about dating, but really we're about living an exciting life. You know, how do you create that? And absolutely, fitness is huge, right? Like, and I know for you, Dave, you used to train a lot back in the day.
Yeah. For me, it was like almost like a way of giving my mind a break, you know, like spending my whole day at work. I spend my whole day at work on computer programming and stuff like that. And going to the gym was a way for me to disengage my brain and engage my body, which isn't something that a lot of people get to do. And it's just like, oh, I can just be in my body, in that feeling, instead of having to be processing. But it was I don't know, it was a really nice other side to my life to be doing something that's very physical over than my day job is like very mental.
Yeah, and I think that's probably why, or where, quite a few people have struggled in lockdown, is the mental health benefits of fitness. Like, I'm really lucky. I live in the countryside. I can literally walk outside. I'm in the middle of nowhere. I couldn't imagine living in a busy city during lockdown. 8 floors up, noisy, like not good for your mental health. So, there's so many benefits to exercise and eating and fueling your body well.
Well, you say you're lucky, but I'm pretty sure that wasn't luck. That was by choice, right? You probably
It was.
decided you want to, yeah. Like, it's true. Like, it's something that I've only recently become aware of, right? Like, living in this sort of crowd. Like, you basically just describe my life there, like living in a flat, like, and on top of each other, but there is a crowded feeling compared to when you're in the countryside and you're in the open air. And I think that makes a huge difference. It's not just about the exercise, but also the environment that you're in that contributes to your mental health and your well-being.
Yeah, it's a huge thing having that, not feeling locked in or feeling free. You know, like I think I live. Funny enough, I only live a few miles from AJ, but I live on the ground floor of a flat, and within 5 minutes walk, I can be in the forest. And like having that peace of mind to know I can go and be in the nature and hear the sounds of the trees and the birds and not that many animals, but to be in the nature is beautiful to have.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. So I mean, yeah, I was like, that's not luck. That's definitely something that you're aware of for yourself, even if you didn't consciously think, right, nature, but you can feel it, right? Like just being, especially, I think, you mentioned lockdown, and during lockdown, reconnecting with nature, getting out there, walking, that really made a big difference. So, what we really want to ask you about today, and really see what you can say on this and share with us, and especially for our listeners, is like fitness, confidence. Like, what is the connection? Like, how does it work? Why is it that when we work out, like, we actually feel more confident, more better in ourselves? Is it just appearance, or is there more to it?
There's definitely an appearance component. I think it changes definitely with age, definitely changes with the type of goals you have. I remember when I was younger, it was all about appearance, and that's fine. Like, it served me at that point in my life. I wanted to be a young, athletic-looking guy, so I trained for that. Now there is still definitely a component of that, and luckily it's easier to maintain a certain like body once you've built it. Like, the work required is not as great, but these days it's a lot more of a feeling. Like, I want to feel well. I don't want to train so hard that the next day I'm like really tired, and then I can't work as effectively. I can't engage with my wife and my child and stuff. So it's definitely a more balanced approach these days. I was an obese teenager, had IBS, ADHD, eczema, asthma. So getting fit changed all of that. Like, I lost 5.5 stone. The feeling of not carrying around all that body fat was just transformational in and of itself. And then not walking around knowing that my bowels were always inflamed or upset. The ADHD thing, knowing that I can concentrate and focus on work and kind of be driven and stuff and be able to execute. So, like, in terms of confidence, it enabled me to grow in every area of my life. And I think it's like any challenge. When we see people go into the gym or challenge themselves physically, you show yourself you're capable of something. I think that's a great
Mm.
thing, and it just bleeds into other areas of your life. So if you're like, well, if I can get fit and healthy, perhaps I can go into a bar and get a really, really fit chick that I like. Like already you're thinking differently because
Yeah.
achievement in one area of your life leads into achievement of other areas, and I think that's how your confidence builds. And we all see people, we're like, oh, I wish I had their confidence. I'm like, that probably didn't come by accident. That probably came by, evolution, where they were maybe good at a subject at school, so they had success, and then that went into sport, and then when they left school, they got a job because they trusted themselves, so they got a good job, and then they climbed the career ladder. Like, not much of this stuff happens by accident. It is by design, whether that started at age 2, age 20, or age 40. It's still a path that we're all going on, and we can all develop it and improve it at any point in our life.
Yeah, it's a great point you make there. Actually, is that we've been like coaching men for years, and quite a lot of guys are like, oh, if I get the body, then I'm going to have the confidence, and then I can go and do, I can get the job I want, I can get the girl I want, I can live the way my life is. Is that they have this idea that it's having the body, having the Adonis body that gives you confidence, and they don't realize that it's actually the process of getting the body is giving you the confidence.
Definitely. Yeah, 100%. Because you start to really appreciate and respect yourself and love yourself. I think if you were to, interview many women, not many women want like a six-pack chiseled guy. Most women like a buff guy, but what
Yeah.
they're looking for is they're looking to see that like aura of a man, where a man is like strong and confident and like owns their body and their mind. Because a woman wants like security, love, wants to have kids that are genetically strong, and stuff. So you're right. It's all about that feeling that it develops, that strength that it kind of gives you. And if I now, like, if my physique in theory goes backwards, I don't lose any of that strength, because it's strength that I've built that's almost very internal, and I'm
Yeah.
not attaching the success in my life to the way that I look. It is
Yeah.
feeling, like the way that I feel and turn up every day is something that is innately built over time.
And it's also that you have the confidence. Like if your physique slips for whatever reason, because you've been busy working, you haven't been able to work out as much, that because you've done it in the past, you can get back to where you were, or get back to even an even better place. And it builds that confidence in yourself to affect change in your life.
Yeah, because you trust yourself, you trust in your ability.
Because when you haven't done it, say for instance, and I know a lot of guys are in a situation where they're like, oh, I'd like to be in really great shape. And you say, okay, here's a meal plan. Here's some exercise you should do. Go and do it. They actually don't have the trust in themselves to do that, because they've got no previous track record with their bodies in actually creating that change.
And the problem with that is they're quite often projecting too far into the future. Like, I want that body, and it's like, well, hang on, you don't even go to the gym yet. So maybe like, let's just join the gym, or let's just start running, and then that goal will probably feel really obtainable. But you're saying to yourself, right, I need to be this guy that goes to the gym 5 days a week and does a body part split and eats like this, and that's very far from where you are right now. So let's just take the first step, and again build that confidence to be that guy that can get there, to be that guy.
Yeah.
So it brings me to like a point I was thinking of, like, so what, in terms of fitness for the maximum sort of confidence, what should men focus on? And I'm hearing, I like where you started with, obviously it depends on where you're at in life and your goals and what you're willing to put in. But as an overall focus, like what would you say under one umbrella, like this should be your primary focus if you're getting into fitness, or you're already in fitness and you have some goals?
Yeah, it's a big question. It's obviously very different for a lot of people. First and foremost, I think fitness long term has to be fun. You've got to enjoy it, whether it's running, cycling, lifting weights, whatever. I have the perspective that I want to be an individual that, given most situations, I can handle myself.
Yeah.
So I've never gone all in and just been like, I'm just the gym guy, or I'm just the running guy. Like, I've always done a bit of weights. I've played rugby like most of my life. I've always played like a few other sports, cycled and stuff. So I kind of feel like I'm a guy that's ready for anything. And I like that. I like to be able to turn up to any situation and people are like, "Oh, we're doing this today," and you're not afraid. You're like, "Okay, that's going to be a bit of a challenge, but like it's not a stretch for me." So I think things. If you think about CrossFit's been great for a lot of guys because it's like you walk into a gym. 1 minute you're lifting something heavy, then you're climbing up a rope, then you're slamming a ball, then you're running around the block, and it's like that's pretty cool actually because you haven't just run, you've done like 10 different things in a workout, and I think that's pretty cool. That's going to build a resilient body and mind over time.
Yeah, and you feel like, you feel almost like you said, like combat ready. You could be, someone could find you in the jungle in Colombia, and it's like you need to get out, you need to run. You're like, okay, I got this. I know how to do this. I can climb mountains. I can jump off cliffs. I can climb trees. It's that feeling of being a man who is just ready for whatever's going to life can throw.
The term that came to me, I'll make up a new term now. We'll use this now from now on. James Bonding. We're doing that. Jay now. I feel I'm ready for anything. I'm James Bonding. I'm just ready. But it is that feeling. It's a great feeling. As we speak as men here, so I only know this experience as a man. But it's a great feeling as a man to just be ready. Maybe you're moving house. I'm doing that soon. And you got to pick up some. You got to pick up some boxes. You're just like, it's like I'm ready. I know I can take it. Maybe some stuff's a bit heavier, but because you have been working out and you feel physically ready. The other thing, actually, I want to pick up on what you just said there, which I really like, because I've not been someone who typically likes going to the gym. I've actually found it notoriously boring doing the same motions. I know there's a result, and I know muscles get bigger, and we tend to look better, but one of the things I liked about what you just said there is about, it's got to be fun. You got to find something that you enjoy. And what I really enjoy is a sport called parkour, where I'm running, I'm jumping, I'm climbing, I'm doing these things. And I noticed like the movements can be very similar, but the mindset for me is different. Like I'm not doing sprints. I'm trying to jump something. I'm not doing a HIIT workout. I'm just trying to run across some bollards or something. And because I love it, I'm doing that, 10, 20 times without counting. I'm not doing circuits and whatever, but I do that in a gym, and all of a sudden I start to yawn, and I'm just like, I don't know if this is for me, if fitness is for me. So I really like that point about that. What would you say to someone who they say struggle with, say, going to the gym or any particular exercise? Is there a way of discovering what you like?
Definitely try lots of different things. I think sometimes for some people, if we do connect like the aesthetic element, so let's say someone wants a certain body or a body that performs a certain way, you could then say, okay, well, what types of like environments or training styles stimulate that? And it might be that there's 4 or 5 different things. And it's like, okay, well, go and put yourselves in those environments. So like you love in parkour, I love rugby, not just because of the physicality of the game, the competitiveness, but I loved how freaking hard the training was. Like I didn't have to think about doing 40 sprints, getting up and down, tackling a guy, smashing, like rolling, getting muddy. Like if a personal trainer got me in a gym and was like, right, we're going to do 40 sprints, we're going to get up and down off the floor, I'd be like, bro, no. Environment. Like you've done 90 minutes, you're absolutely knackered. The next day you are the fittest. Like you're just so much fitter. But it's the power of the environment. The environment created that change. And I think that's one of the things that I'm missing hugely in my life at the moment with lockdown is that I don't have any sport or that like competitive fitness in my life, and it's slowly eating away at my soul.
Yeah, because it's hard because like I played football, 5-a-side football, so I played for a lot of years, and like you said, it's like I didn't even do the training. We just like playing, and it was that fact that I went to the gym as well, so I was going to the gym maybe 2 or 3 times a week. But I played football twice, and I loved football because it's that there's other people there. You're with other people. There's the one thing with the gym is you say is that you know what you're going to do and you know what needs to be done. When you're playing a sport, there's the mystery of whatever's going to happen in those moments when you're on the pitch, when you're running around and you're with the other people, like you're trying to work things out. and it's like you said, in these times, like you just don't have that kind of people contact, people to people sport as well, and the environment as well. I think a lot of people don't actually think about that when they're choosing a fitness activity. Is like, what is the environment going to be like? What sort of environments do you thrive in? What sort of environments do you enjoy? You know, because say, for instance, you don't like competitive environments, for instance, then maybe going and doing like, maybe football isn't going to be for you, right?
Yeah.
But you enjoy something where there's a social element. So maybe then something like CrossFit actually could be a lot more along the lines of what someone enjoys.
Yeah, there's also what you said about picking an environment that suits the type of body that you're trying to get. Now that's I've never heard it or contextualized it in that way before. Like, you're putting yourself in an environment that will then essentially condition your body in a particular way. Like, is there like a chart for that? Like, if I'm like, right, what kind of body do I want? Okay, I do some rock climbing, do some football. Is there something like that, or is there something like any advice you have on that?
Most people are on social media watching TV and stuff. Like when we're watching sport, like what's the typical frame and build of a footballer? What's the typical frame and build of a rugby player, a CrossFit person? So actually just taking a little bit of a casual look around and saying, actually, I really respect the body and frame of a footballer. It's like, okay, cool. Well, what type of training a footballer's doing? It's quite a lot of repetitive sprint, quite a bit of cardio. I'm going to say a moderate amount of weight training. Like a footballer will weight train like twice a week, probably not anymore, because they don't actually need to be really muscular, but they want to be powerful and strong.
Yeah.
So we then model, and it's like anything. It's like business. It's like dating. Like whatever you're doing, it's like, where do you want to go? Okay, cool. Model the behavior and techniques that you need to get to that place, and then be realistic on the time frame. If I wanted to build a huge, if I wanted to build the next Amazon, don't go to your next local business meeting. Like go to business meetings in London when all the CEOs are meeting that are building the biggest companies in the world. It's like that is the power of environment and the power of the stimulus and the kind of level of inspiration that you're going to almost get carried away with. It's like if you walk into a CrossFit gym, you're going to get carried away with that environment. Like, there's literally no way you can't get like into it if you're in kind of with a good group of people. You'll get addicted to the stimulus, you'll get addicted to the outcome. So like think forward. What do I want to look like, feel like? Cool. Start to model that behavior and model those tools.
Yeah. I was thinking, have you seen, is it The Last Dance with Michael Jordan and
what
stuff?
A documentary.
Yeah.
And there's a point in there where his trainer, who seems like the most American man you could potentially ever see with your eyes, right? And he's talking about how when Michael Jordan went from playing basketball to doing baseball, and he was just like, Michael's body wasn't built for baseball. For baseball, he literally was like, he needed to restructure how his body moved, and I had to create him a training plan to do that. And it's the first time I'd really been like, fuck yeah, there's you go from doing a sport and your whole body is doing different movements completely to do something else, and it actually takes like a kind of learning, a teaching of the body to get there.
Yeah, he really suffered when he went back to basketball afterwards.
Yeah.
He said it was one of the hardest things he had to do was to retrain his body to get back into basketball champion like shape.
Oh, that's it, yeah.
Yeah. That was it's quite an interesting thing.
Because basketballers, for instance, they have they're if you compare them to footballers, they are a lot more muscular, because especially when you consider it's a non-contact sport. But it's like they're actually quite big guys, they have to really take a lot of buffeting, and they're very explosive actually as athletes.
Yeah, more leg strength.
And what was nice about that in the movie is actually it didn't take him like a couple of weeks to adapt to baseball. Like it took him months and months and months of training to even start to get close to being good at baseball.
Wow.
I think that's a really nice little sort of leveler for people. If one of the best athletes in the world is struggling to transition across, then there's a bit of struggle in us to get to where we need to be.
Yeah, I think it's often we live in this world now, and I'm sure you've seen it with clients, is like everyone thinks everything happens instantly, right? And there's so many like training programs of like, get abs in 6 weeks, get this in 6 weeks, and it also negates the fact that 6 weeks is a really short amount of time, Like I remember when we used to take guys out in the club and coach in the club a lot. I was probably a bit bigger and probably a bit more toned then. Guys would go, how long have you been going to the gym? How long did it take you to get here? And I'd be like, 7 years. And they'd go, oh, what can I do in 6 months? And you go, yeah, you can get a decent way. But I was like, I haven't had the goal of getting to where I was at that point. I was just training because I enjoyed training and it was part of my life. I didn't have this goal of like, when I get to this, then I've made it. But it's like you get into the rhythm of just enjoying it. It's like, how do you kind of work with people when they are in this kind of instant? Like when you say to them, it's going to take 3 months, 6 months, a year even to get to your desired body or near to your desired body. And they're like, oh, that's way too long. How can I do that shorter?
I quite often use pictures and then I'm just I just level with them. So I quite often use my transformation as a gauge. And I'm like, okay, I actually lost weight really quickly. Yeah. I had the perfect recipe for weight loss. Like I was going to the gym like 2 hours a day. I was eating really strictly. Like I was young, I was full of energy, didn't have like kids, mortgage, any of that other stress. So actually I had the perfect recipe for rapid weight loss. So if you can do all of that in the way that I did it, you'll get the result that I got. And then I talk them through like the muscle building journey. So I'm like, this is me at 19, this is me at 21, this is me at 24. And I trained hard. Like I wasn't messing about in the gym. Like I was there to do hard work. If you're willing to get those changes over the years, then that's exactly what you can do. And I would describe myself as someone that's got low to moderate genetics when it comes to muscle building.
Right.
I knew guys in my rugby team that would go to the gym 1 day a week and look like He-Man, whereas I'm going to the gym like 4 days a week just to get like a pound of muscle on my frame. So I think it's just, sharing that story very visually. And then, because ultimately people are going to make the decision with their eyes anyway. They're not going to use their logical brain. They're going to use their emotional brain. And then they're like, oh, well, actually, I'm not willing to do that. I'm like, well, you're not going to get the result. So see you later.
Yeah. Yeah. That's one of the things that we see a lot with people is motivation actually, and this crosses across a lot of things in life, like whether it be dating. We even did an episode around motivation and people often they want the results, but they lack the motivation to make the effort. Maybe it's, quite a common one I've seen with people is people I've spoken to have wanted to train. And I've said, oh, here's a diet plan that I've used. And they're like, oh, but that's really, it's quite restrictive. You've only eaten certain things. I can't do that. How do you motivate people?
So having a really clear purpose behind every goal is I think is extremely powerful. I quite often talk about things that take away an individual's momentum, because I think every day people get up with the best intention for their day. Like no one gets up and is like, my aim is to have a really shit day today. Like I want to have a good day.
Yeah.
So I get people often to talk me through their day and I'm like, where does your day go wrong? Like it literally start at the first drink that you have. Like, are you not drinking the right fluids? Are you not having the right breakfast? Do you get up to work? Do you get to work and you're just pissed off all day because you hate your job? Like, if you don't eat right, if you're going to a job that you hate, if your friends annoy you, that's not a recipe for anyone to have good motivation to train.
Yeah.
So it's about changing a lot more in your life than just your exercise habits. So you're not going to bed on time. You haven't got good friends around you. Your job doesn't motivate you. Like, you're not going to be motivated to go to the gym. So all of this stuff, we use this word a lot, holistic. It's got to be a holistic approach. Like when you work with men and they're dating, if they want to build their confidence, like you're probably recommending fitness because it is going to help and contribute to their confidence.
Yeah.
So it's the same with all this fitness stuff and our goals. It's like work's important, managing stress is important, going to bed on time is important, hydrating is important. And that's why my big thing is all about living an awesome life. Like I talk about health and fitness from the perspective of you need to step up and live an awesome life. Like that is your mission, to live your best life in your best way. And that's not just going to be solved with a diet plan or a fitness plan. That's going to be solved with getting to bed on time, eating right, sleep, like all of this stuff.
Yeah, couldn't agree more.
Something that comes up as a question is like, I don't think you mentioned it so far, is like, well, what was your motivation? Because it sounds like you had a huge like epiphany of some sort, or was it? Or was it just a spur of the moment thing?
No, it was literally an epiphany moment. So I left school at 18. I was very overweight, very unhealthy, and I'd been like an actor all through my childhood. And at the age of 18, I then started doing the auditions for drama school,
Right.
RADA, all that stuff. And I was getting rejection after rejection after rejection. I was like, shit, perhaps it's me. Perhaps I'm the problem. And I looked
Right.
at myself and I was like, well, let's be honest with myself. I'm 5.5 stone overweight. I'm tired. I'm unhealthy. I've got IBS. I've got eczema. Like, what would change in my life if I changed myself? And I then went off on a really kind of basic fitness journey. I literally woke up one day and I was like, if I don't change, I won't be successful in my life. And as a young guy that wanted to be successful, that was a huge motivator for me. So I literally started running, started eating healthier. And to be honest, not really anything was working. I lost 5 pounds like all summer. And I was like, shit, like this isn't working. Like everyone else is getting results with health and fitness. Why am I not? So and long story short, I ended up having a massive argument with my brother because I'm an older brother. And when you're an older brother, it gives you the right to bully your younger brother. So we're in the kitchen one day, I was bullying him and he just flipped out and he was like, you're not so perfect. You're a fat waste of space. Like, real brother like type argument. And I was like, shit, like he's right. Like, I'm putting in all this effort. I'm getting nowhere. So I was like, right, I need to change my level of knowledge and I need to change my environment. So where's the next best environment for me to take the next step in my life? So I was like, all right, I'll join a gym. So I joined the local gym and I was just really fortunate to get a really good induction session. Because, when you join your gym, you get that 30 minutes, and the trainer was really switched on, really nice guy. He recommended a book to me. He made some tweaks to my fitness plan. We talked nutrition and I applied everything that he said and I lost 6 stone, 5.5 stone in 6 months. And it was just that transformational journey that powered the rest of my career. So it initially started as a young man wanting to make a success of himself and then having to look at himself to be a better version of himself and make a success of himself.
Wow. When's the movie coming out? That sounds incredible. That's that movie writes itself. Yeah. Played by Leonardo DiCaprio.
Whoa. Why am I cut out the movie?
Sorry, man, it's how it works, isn't it? Yeah.
Plays himself.
Plays himself, Rocky style. Yeah, that'd be amazing. No, but genuinely, that's an incredible story. That's really cool. Wow. I love the fact that it was like a pain motivator, because so often people feel like that stops them in life. That's their lot. That's all they can do. But you were like, you had a vision of something that you wanted, a feeling, an emotion, and you were right. This is the way. I must make it better for myself.
And I really want to, and it was also what I really heard in there is this like real desire for change, like the real desire to make it happen, because ultimately it's like, it was your effort, the things you would have had to sacrifice as well must have felt quite huge at the time. But you look back at now and you're just like so happy that you did it.
Oh, 100%. But this is the power of environment, and I'm very fortunate in many ways. So when I was 18, I went to boarding school as a kid. So very, fortunate in some ways. But when I was 18, I literally left school, had no friends. My family weren't around. I had nothing when I left school because my family lived abroad. And when you go to boarding school, everyone lives all over the UK. So I had 2 friends in my local town from the school. Right. So I was literally living in a spare bedroom in my parents' house who didn't live there. So literally my day was work and that's it. And what that allowed me to do is I didn't have friends in my ear going, oh, why are you doing that? Come out for a beer. I was able to control everything. And that's a big, reason why a lot of people don't change, because we've got crap friends in our ear giving us bad advice. We've got, people that are trying to lead us astray. We've got faulty belief systems being, pushed on us from our parents. And, we're trying to get overfed by our grandma 3 days a week, trying to get us back. And all of this thing actually counts when it comes to health and fitness. And I'm just very grateful that at the age of 18, I was kind of on my own, and I was just able to form my own path.
Wow.
Yeah. And your gym would have become like your best friend.
Yeah, it did, 100%.
Yeah.
Like I spent 2 hours a night there.
Yeah. I can resonate with that. Is like what actually got me into the gym was a breakup, a relationship breakup. I was 17. I broke up with my girlfriend at the time. And I was like, because, when you're 17, you pour your heart into someone. And I just didn't know what to do with my time. And one of my friends, he was like, come to the gym with me, Dave. And I was like, okay, cool. I'll come to the gym with you. And before I knew it, 4 nights a week, I was walking to this gym, and it was like I knew everyone there. We'd spend anything from like 2 to 4 hours there in the evening, and it just became a place of like, it was more than gym. It was like a place of love. You go there, you felt held, you felt safe, you felt people cared about you. You made friends. But it's a really good point about the environment. It just becomes everything.
It's funny. It's almost like the cheapest second home as well. Like you can get a gym membership for what, like 25 quid or whatever. And if you go there every night, you're seeing your mates, you're getting a sweat on. Like it's a really small investment, but actually quite a lot of return.
Yeah, you get free water.
Yeah. Actually, I don't know what it's like now. I mean, with all these new measures in place. But there is the free water.
Yeah, free water is a great place. I always say this I've said this to people when I was younger. It's like, if you don't have many friends, right, a gym is a great place to go and hang out. Especially as a man, because I don't know what your examples of masculinity when I grew up, they weren't men who were working like very single-mindedly towards goals, and when you're in the gym, you're there with other men who are older than you, who will look after you. They'll show you how to use a machine, they'll guide you, and it's that there's a real camaraderie around being in the gym.
Nice.
And I'm not saying the gym is the only place you can find this, because I know a lot of people don't like the gym, but like I've seen this in football, like even like I went to before, when the world was a different place. I used to go to yoga a lot, and I went to one class pretty much for a year and a half, and it was like it just became this team group. You used to go for dinner afterwards, like you knew people, you hung out, people helped out other people. People went to, one of the guys was a musician, he went to his gigs and stuff like that. You can really create a community.
Nice. Yeah. That is nice. Yeah, I get the same sort of thing when I go to parkour classes. Like everyone, I guess one of those things when you're challenging yourself and you have a breakthrough moment with something, you share it with everyone around you. It's really cool. Yeah. There was one other thing that I think you mentioned a few times, and I'm a big believer in it, and it's diet and it's nutrition, and it's that side of health that David and I have both done various detoxes, and we've been into healthy eating and training with healthy eating. I know you've mentioned it yourself at the start. Like, how big of a place does it play in fitness?
I think it's bigger than the fitness component, only because it provides health for the body. What you feed your body is what your heart, your skin, your brain, everything is feeding off. So for me, it's absolutely fundamental. And when you start to look at lifestyle-related diseases and stuff, all of this stuff is connected to what we eat. Like if people don't want to be experiencing problems at 40 years old and stuff, then put good stuff in your mouth. Like if you want to provide your body with vitamins, minerals, phytonutrients, fiber, pre and probiotics, like you've got to be eating fruit and vegetables. Like you've got to be eating, like good stuff. So for me, that's where my big passion is in nutrition, and that's because it had the biggest impact on my health. Like I've always been an active kid, like right from the age of like 6, 7, 8, I've been playing rugby, hockey, all sorts of stuff. So exercise was never a problem, but I was obese at school. What was a problem was what I ate. And then when I changed my relationship with food and understood food, I lost loads of weight, reclaimed my health, and now I'm a very healthy, athletic guy.
The key thing there, key phrase there is understanding food.
Yeah.
I don't think a lot of people understand food. It's just like this kind of like, well, food goes in the mouth when you're hungry, basically. Is like just walking into a supermarket. I often make this joke whenever I'm talking about food and buying food. It's like I go into a supermarket, there's only a couple of aisles that I actually see, and the rest of it, I don't know what's being sold in the rest of these aisles. But there's actually 80% of the aisles that I am not visiting.
Really?
Because there's not much that I need on those ones. That I'm going to the fruit and veg.
Yeah.
I miss majority of the frozen stuff. There's at least 2 or 3 hours of frozen stuff, and then I'm maybe picking some stuff from other places. But majority, I'm like going to, let's say there's 20 aisles. I'm going to like 1, 2, 3, or 4. Bang, 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 and I'm out.
Yeah. Fruit, veg. Like I like the fish counter. I'm a
Yeah.
big fan of the old fish counter. I've kind of pretty much given up like red meat and chicken and pork.
I told you pork's bad for you.
Yeah, you've been telling me these years as a Muslim man.
Finally converted him. Yeah.
I get my hijab next week. But yeah, I think I've got like written down here diet, and like I come to learn when I was about 26. You know, I'd be going to the gym 4 nights a week. I used to quite commonly go to the gym and on my walk home go into KFC and get like chips and a chicken meal. I'm quite lucky. I have a very fast metabolism as a kid. And I remember around 26, looking at my stomach. I was in Australia. I came back from Australia and I looked at my stomach and I just realized I was like, I can't live like that anymore. I'm not a kid. My body's not going to burn through it. And I had to go on a big drive to really learn about food, like learn about why you should eat vegetables, why you shouldn't eat fried food, you know, whole grains, the times in which the day you should be eating certain things and so forth. Like what kind of, I know this is a big question.
Yeah.
What kind of tips can you give for, you know, kind of the average man who is to say he's in a position where, you know, he's got a little bit of a fitness regime going on, but it's his diet that's letting him down a little bit. Like what can you advise for someone to start changing and adding in?
For sure. Probably 3 quick, simple tips. Like we can't argue that everyone needs to generally eat real food. So whether you choose to be vegan, vegetarian, omnivorous, pescatarian, like it doesn't matter. All of those diets are grounded in whole foods. Lots of fruits, vegetables, whole grains, protein, wherever you're getting it from, healthy fats. So as long as you're eating, let's say 80% of your diet is real food, you're going to be a healthy individual. At some point, especially if you're interested in fitness and weight, you're going to have to learn or have an awareness about your body's caloric needs. So, you know, portion control, like, do you understand actually what your body needs so that it doesn't get overweight? And also you don't undereat and end up feeling tired and lethargic and all the rest of it. There is a balance there. So for some of my clients, I recommend that they just track their calorie intake for like a month. Even if you're not bothered about doing it long term, it's an education process. Like what is actually in my food? Like if I made a bowl of oatmeal, like how many calories are actually in it? Because you might be, you know, like actually eating 900 calories for breakfast. And you're like, oh, I don't know why I'm not losing weight. But you're having this massive bowl of oatmeal with whole milk, with nuts on top, with goji berries and flax seeds and all this kind of lovely creative stuff, which is great. You might simply be consuming too much. And then thirdly is with the kind of education around kind of calories and stuff is just understanding how to balance your lifestyle. I think a lot of people come unstuck where they want to go out for meals. They want to enjoy food with friends and family, going out for some beers, all that kind of stuff. We'll just understand what the impact of like that meal is. So if I went to a pub and I ordered fish and chips with mushy peas off the menu, I know that it's going to be around 1,200 to 1,400 calories for that plate of food. I know that a pint of beer is like 220 calories. So at least armed with that knowledge, I can go down the pub and be like, okay, cool, I just had dinner and 2 pints. Let's say that's 1,600 calories. And for me, that's roughly half to 40% of my daily calorie need. So even just armed with that little bit of knowledge, I'm like, cool, at least I know where I'm at. I don't feel like guilty that I've gone out and had a good meal. I just know the calorie load of that meal, so I can just pay attention and fit that into my overall daily calorie need. So I think eat real food, learn about food and calories, and then just make sure you know how to balance a sociable and fun lifestyle so that you don't wake up on Sunday morning all guilty because you had a 2-course dinner and a glass of wine the night before. Like that's no way to live your life. So, you know, and if you're following people online where all these Instagram people are posting all the perfect meals and it all looks like completely unachievable, then unfollow them because all of this stuff is achievable while having, you know, a fun and enjoyable life.
Yeah. Is there any particular apps you recommend for following the amount of calories you're consuming?
Probably like the world's most popular one, which is MyFitnessPal. Seems to have like the biggest database. That one.
Yeah, I used MyFitnessPal for a while actually, probably about a year, pretty consistently. And I remember once being quite drunk one evening and being in McDonald's and being like, oh, I've got to put this on MyFitnessPal, and I was like, oh, Big Mac meal large, I was like, oh God, it's there. So like, it's got everything in there.
Yeah, it does. Yeah,
And I can really resonate with you saying about balance, because I started to, I don't know, you might have done this as well, as I'd be like, oh, I'm going out tonight for a few pints. So in the morning, I'm going to have porridge with water. You know, I'm going to have for lunch, I'm going to have some broccoli and some just grilled chicken, which means I've got a load of calories I can get through in the evening if I choose to.
Yeah.
And it was like, oh, you can do that. And then you're kind of guilt free. You're not like living in this like, oh shit, I shouldn't have had that. I fucked myself up, because you know you've got that knowledge. You've armed yourself with the knowledge and understanding.
Nice. Yeah.
I think that's a great approach. I do something very similar. I just sort of like eat a bit lighter during the day, choose different foods, eat a little bit leaner, and then go out for dinner and enjoy yourself.
Yeah. Do you do much or think of anything of intermittent fasting? Because that's something that I've actually recently gotten into, and I find that's a good way to control my calorie intake.
I currently do intermittent fasting. I like it. I think it's great for anyone that takes a very sort of lifestyle to moderate approach to their nutrition and their overall fitness. I think when you're someone that trains like pretty hard, pretty regularly, you're just going to really struggle to get enough fuel in and consistently eating to actually keep recovery on point. So like, I cycle twice a week. I do weights 3 times a week. So fasting's fine for me. But when I was playing rugby, like there's no way that I could do an intermittent fast and start a dieting. It just didn't get enough food in the tank.
Yeah, fair play. You know, I get that. Yeah, because you definitely feel it in terms of your overall energy that's required for the output that you're doing.
Yeah.
If you're hammering it in terms of fitness, yeah, I hear that.
I think it's a great way for people to consider eating when you just got quite a busy life as well. Like, you know, the freedom to be able to get up, have a coffee, and just crack on with your day is brilliant. Like, you know, I'm a business owner, got a young child. Like, not having to think about breakfast is just another great thing.
I hear you. Yeah, it's true, and I actually find it's better in terms of focus. I find I focus much better, because otherwise my mind is always like, oh, what shall I eat? It's like, what shall I eat? What am I having? Yeah. But if you know you're fasting,
I find as well is like not eating in the morning it's like you haven't started eating. It's almost like your brain hasn't got used to consuming food at regular intervals. So when you say, brain, we're not going to eat in the morning, but there's going to be some food later, it's like it doesn't remember eating dinner. So, whereas if I've skipped, say I don't have lunch and dinner, it's a whole different ball game for me. It's like my brain's like, come on, I know what it feels like to be full. I want some more food in me. I want some more food.
Oh man. So there's a couple more questions that I have in mind. One of them was like, what do you find is like the biggest mistake that men make, and what's your advice on how to avoid that?
That is a big question.
Yeah, around fitness, obviously, not generally.
With nutrition is like none of this stuff you have to be perfect, and so many fitness plans are written in a way where there's lots of structure and there's lots of rules. Like, eat this, don't do that, drink this, don't do that, work out on a Monday, don't do this. And it's like, fitness is way more flexible than that. Like, once you get sort of like kind of 5 key pillars right, get to bed on time, so get enough sleep, hydrate properly, eat good food, control your calorie intake, and work on your mindset, like have a real positive mindset and environment. Like, you're 90% there. Like, and you know, you don't have to be in the gym every day. Like you said, like, go to the gym 2 to 3 times a week. Otherwise, you know, run around with your mates, do some stuff. Like, none of this stuff has to be as perfect and as rigid as people think it have to be.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, that's really cool. Yeah, that definitely takes the weight off a lot of people's minds for sure. Because a lot of these plans are they seem so perfect, and I've looked at a lot of different things, and so often, and it feels like if you miss one step, you just fuck the whole thing up, and then you're falling behind, and it's not true. Yeah.
No, I guess I think they're designed in mind to kind of. I think maybe this is what it is they're designed to be perfect with the assumption that people will stray. But maybe it sets up a lot of people, you know, if you've got that perfectionism in you, you've got that, oh my God, I've got to do it perfect. And then as soon as you go astray, you're like, fuck it, I'm not doing any of it now. I'm just going to eat ice cream all day. Yeah, I actually have a question, and it's something that I've been battling with personally. So this is an answer I want to get, is normally in my normal day-to-day life, when I'm working and going to the office and stuff, I actually walk a hell of a lot. And I probably burn a lot of calories through walking. And now that I'm working from home, I'm sitting at a desk all day. My toilet's only about 3 meters away from me, Like that little route I used to take at work was...
Are you working in your bath?
We live in London, man. The space is so small.
Yeah. His toilet's a mile away.
Just got across 2 fields.
And a mountain, just to get there.
Is actually like how to balance the kind of the fitness, the movement, and the urge of snacking.
The urge of snacking, I like that.
Yeah, so when I troubleshoot with clients, I always actually want to get to the root of the issue. So lockdown presented a whole new series of problems for people with their fitness and food. Snacking was a huge one. And I'm like, I bet you the biggest reason you're snacking is because you're bored.
Yeah.
You get up from your desk and the chances are if you walk through your kitchen, you will think of what is in the kitchen. Oh, what's in the fridge? Oh, what's in this cupboard? Oh, wagon wheels.
How did that get there?
It's 11 o'clock. Why not? Time for a wagon. It's like, are you actually hungry, or are you bored, or are you feeling frustrated? Like, there's so many reasons people eat, and it's actually the reason why someone eats. Someone in your situation, I might say to you, like, literally, how can we be more active? So I might ask questions like, how many times during the day do you jump on the phone? And you might be like, to be honest, only about half an hour a day, take like some calls, speak to work colleagues. I'm like, well, could you do them outside? Like, could you nip outside and take the call and get, even if you got in 10 minutes worth of like steps and stuff, that will add up throughout the day if you did that 3-4 times. Like sometimes even creating like really childish fitness games. So like you live in a flat, so maybe it's a bit different, but like during lockdown, I was like, okay, every time you walk up and down a flight of stairs, you're not allowed to just go up. You got to go up and down 10 times before you are able to like finish your journey. And in lockdown, that actually helped a lot of people just be a bit more creative with their movement because they were literally stuck in their homes. Like, can you actually make habits more active? Because you've probably slipped into some really sedentary habits. And can you kind of like challenge your fitness? And then can you get under the skin of like what is actually the problem? Because it's like you raised the question of motivation earlier. Like people are constantly searching for motivation. I'm like, find out what's not giving you motivation, like what's stealing your momentum, and then you'll probably get to the root of the problem way quicker.
There was there's a really good book I started to read called Indistractable. And in it there's an exercise, and I actually found this, it was really interesting because I was doing it is why I was getting distracted, but one of the main distractions that I went to was food. And I started to see what one of the distractions was the main kind of route he talks about. Distraction is about being uncomfortable. There's some form of uncomfortable feeling you're dealing with. And for me, it was like, oh, I'm bored. I'm frustrated. I'm feeling like I can't do the work I'm doing. I don't understand something. And it was really eye-opening to see. I was like, oh, I actually only really get off my desk when I'm feeling something that I don't want to sit with and be with. There's some emotional reaction I'm having that I don't like, and how I get rid of it is to give myself some sort of kind of up, which is food. And when I started to kind of keep note of that, and unconsciously I was like, oh, at 11:15 I felt that I didn't know what I was doing, or I didn't understand this meeting, and I was thinking about going to get food. Oh no, I'll just take a note of it. And it became really eye-opening to see how my day was playing out.
Same with alcohol.
Yeah.
So many people, dating, like how many people like, oh, I need a drink before I go to this girl. And it's like, why? You're feeling uncomfortable. You're feeling insecure. You're lacking confidence. It's fascinating once you get under the skin of what people are actually struggling with. It's never usually the primary reason they think it is. And it's quite often because once you get closer to the truth is actually quite uncomfortable.
Absolutely.
It requires a lot of change. So for some people, like with snacking at home and their work, the reality might be they absolutely hate their job. They're looking for any means to be distractible, but actually changing jobs is a lot of effort for a lot of people. It involves a lot of upheaval for some. So they avoid that by leaving the problem as surface level.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a great point. It's a really good point. I think maybe in this lockdown, the level of uncomfortable feeling is just increased massively, like being at home, working from home constantly, some people being with their partners who they're not normally used to. It's like the amount of uncomfortable emotion that we're having to deal with is way beyond normal. We're just like finding ways to kind of let that out, and without dealing with the root cause.
Yeah. That's. I feel like that's a whole nother podcast, like just on how to manage actually the not influx, the fluctuation, I would say, of like calm to concern, and we've got constant news coming in, different things every day, different rules are changing, lifestyles changing.
Yeah.
So then it's like, 1 minute you're feeling okay, everything's going to be all right again, and then it's like, oh no, everything's going to shit again. And so, and it's literally a moment to moment occurrence at this point in time.
Yeah, and it affects the things. It affects the things that you were saying that actually really make a difference. It affects your mindset. It affects the way you eat. It affects your sleep.
Yeah.
And your motivation.
Yeah, I know very early on, me and my fiance, who should have been married by now, but we're now in extended fiance stage due to COVID, is that very early on we noticed we were eating way more Haribos. Haribos have become a regular part of our nutrition, and this very colourful diet as they recommend, the 5 different colours. But then, we recognize that this is not sustainable, like ongoing. And then, so that was actually a benefit to us, because then it was like, oh, actually we need to rein this in.
Yeah.
And that's where the intermittent fasting came in. We brought cheat days in on a Sunday, and that was a wonderful structure.
Yeah.
Because it's like you were saying earlier, Ben, about environment. The environment that we are in today is like a pressure cooker type thing. And so, it's good to be mindful of that. It's a great question that you asked, Dave, because I know a lot of people, I mean, I get to move around a lot, but I know a lot of people are dealing with this right now, like this whole being stuck indoors and whatnot. Yeah. Is there anything else you wanted to?
I was thinking, probably my last question, nothing else after this, is around age, because a lot of people go, oh, I'm a bit older now, like it's harder, that kind of rhetoric. Like, and how do you, what would you say to someone who is feeling like they're a bit older and, getting back into shape is going to be harder? They've been this way for many, many years. Like, what would you speak into that?
So I'm only 34, so my kind of personal experience of that is it only goes so far. What I've experienced with myself, I started to sort of play a bit of a narrative in my head when I was about 32. I don't feel I'm recovering as well. Feel like harder and all the rest of it. And when I actually got to the core of the problem, it's just that my lifestyle didn't actually allow me to perform at my best anymore. So I now had a house. I now had a lot more travel, which means I wasn't sleeping as well. It means my lifestyle was getting like upheaved like every couple of days. So actually, I was like, well, before that, I was in a lot better environment. Like I was sleeping well, I had consistency, like my gym was only X amount of miles away. Like everything allowed me to do that. So don't get me wrong, age can play a role. The body heals slower and joints can hurt, but we can still do what most people want to do. Like most people just actually want to be fit, happy and healthy. Like you might not be able to be a champion marathon runner anymore, but you can still be a decent runner, be fit, be healthy, be happy. What's probably in your way is that actually you're not sleeping as well as you could do. You're not eating as you should do. There's a bit more stress in your life that you'd like. And actually, if you solved all of that, you'd probably feel that physiologically you felt probably literally 10 times better.
Yeah.
I like that. Nice. Yeah, I can definitely resonate, especially with parkour. I've had an on-off relationship with it, mostly due to getting injured and then getting back into it, and then always feeling when I get back into it, like, I don't have the same strength. But actually, it's just a matter of playing and then, just allowing my body to recover and go out and actually just enjoying it, as opposed to getting stuck in this. Because one thing that I think also plays a big part as we get older is comparison. Is like comparing ourselves to maybe younger people or maybe other people that we see, and we're like, oh, we're not the same, or we're not as strong, or whatever. But in actual fact, like when we actually get to it, we can surprise ourselves. And I think, because I'm now 36, So, running around, jumping on things and doing similar distances to what I was doing before is amazing, because I went through a whole thing of having sciatica and whatnot. So to be able to come back, you're just like, oh, actually, I'm still very, very young.
Yeah.
It's like, and I think that's something we can easily, it's especially around I find it's around the zeros, right? So you turn 30 and then you're like, oh my God, I'm old. And then you get a bit, then you get actually, no, it's like as you're reaching 30, right? So you're reaching 30, oh my God, I'm getting a bit old. And then you turn 30, like, oh, it's not so bad. And then there's another one. It's like, oh, I'm reaching 40, I'm getting old. And then you turn 40, oh, it's not so bad. And it's like, because we're constantly being fed this idea of what's old. Like ever since we were young, apparently, like, people used to look at 30-year-olds, and when you're 18, you're like, oh my God, they're really fucking old.
Yeah.
And now, 36, it's like, actually, I'm barely just begun. Like I've got like more vitality and energy than and freedom than I ever did before, because of the way my mind works and stuff. So yeah, I think mindset and not comparing like to anything other than yourself, you know, and is a huge factor as well. Yeah, man, Ben, this has been an incredible podcast. I've really enjoyed the conversation. So many insights, so much to learn and gain. I really, really love this. Thanks so much. If people wanted to get in touch with you, find out more about what you do, get involved with working with you, where could they find you?
For sure. If you like what I've said today, literally just type my name into social media and come have a follow. That's it. If you like using Instagram, I've got a podcast. It's called Ben Coomber Radio. So just wherever you follow people, type in Ben Coomber. See if you like what I'm on about. If you don't, unfollow. All good.
Nice. Yeah. Nice. Cool.
And anything else is probably at my website. I have a supplement company called Awesome Supplements. But anything else at the website. All good.
Amazing.
Well, cool, buddy. Thank you very much.
That's it. Yeah.
Thank you very much.